Welcome to another episode of Not Another Trans Vlog. Although I just said this was another episode of Not Another Trans Vlog. Anyway, however that works out, here we go. This is another episode. I don't really have a lot of pressing things to talk about today. But what I wanted to do is just kind of give pinpoints to this past summer. It was very interesting for me. The last couple have just kind of been, just kind of floating along and not much going on. This summer kind of brought some things, some happenings, which was really nice. First of all, I went home to Indiana in June. Went back to turn 50 with my family. So my parents, my aunts, my uncles, my brother, my sister-in-law, most of my cousins, like everybody is in Indiana. I have no relatives out in California, so I really thought that this would be the birthday to go back home and see everybody and turn 50 with them, as many as I could. So it was again, it was really cool. I flew in. I was there for a week. I flew in. My daughter picked me up at the airport. I went and spent the night at her place in Indianapolis, and then most of the next day with her as well, kind of popping in to see her where she works and to see her workmates and that was really cool. It was nice to see these people that we had talked about and that had been really cool and wanted to meet me. I let them down because I did not show up with pink hair. Sorry, I didn't really want to throw that into the mix, but it probably would have been okay. So I went home, spent the time all over the place. I stayed with my parents, which was amazing, and we went and we would have dinners and lunches. And my birthday dinner brought my aunts and uncles in. My aunt Judy, Uncle Dennis, my Uncle Jeff, my Uncle Mike, my Aunt Barbara, and it was just nice. So it was something that they do on birthday months, so to be there, it was just nice to do that with mine. I had missed that over the last 3 years. The other thing that was going on is I was selling my Star Wars collection. I had 85 boxes that had been in storage since 2009. And this was going to be the perfect time to get rid of that. As I really stopped collecting. I had a buyer. He's in Indiana, obviously. He's got a vintage toy store, and he was able to just come and just kind of take it all in one fell swoop, which was something that I really wanted. I probably could have gotten much more out of it had I pieced it out, but I really just needed to be out from under it, and so off it went. So there's this whole other side of me. I am a huge Star Wars fan, but my collecting days are behind me, although I do still buy some things here and there. I mean, it was nice. The other part of the trip was I was going to meet up with my ex. We are actually still on very friendly terms, and we text and we talk, but we haven't seen each other in 3 years. So we were going to meet up, and we're going to meet up and have she was going to have coffee, I was going to have chai because I don't drink coffee. And we were both really, we had a lot of trepidation going into it. We didn't know what emotions would pop up. We didn't know if we would be crying for an hour. We didn't know if we would be crying for 5 hours after it was over. So she actually brought her new husband, Tony, just in case she couldn't drive home afterwards. So we sat and we had a very nice visit. And it was really interesting because we realized that after 3 years, our lives had gone in completely different directions. Now this was after 22 years of marriage. So, you know, we had given each other the strength and the push that we each needed. But I think that there was probably definitely some things here and there that we didn't provide for one another, which, you know, after the as the transition began, it was clear that we weren't going to stay together. So, you know, we amicably split. But the thing that was so amazing about that meetup, that coffee and tea, was that we both came to the conclusion or the realization that we were just good friends now. There were no like beating heart moments. There were no emotions. It was really just two really good old friends meeting up to catch up for an hour and a half. You know, we spent more time that evening texting back and forth saying how great it was that we didn't have any emotions for each other anymore, which was, you know, that's a really weird conversation, but it was such an amazing conversation to have. So the trip home was very much closing a chapter in my life. Family is still there, obviously. Nothing's going to change that. But things that had been just kind of left open-ended, sort of, were now closed. Star Wars collection gone. Ex-wife, you know, not gone, but the emotions are gone. We're actually, you know, we have moved on quite far. And so then I came back, and I came back with this renewed energy. I came back with this new sense of self. And also when I came home, I had my court date to legally change my name and my gender. So I went and I did that. That was really lackluster. There's not a lot that goes on in those court procedures, quite frankly. You file, you show up, the judge 99% of the time grants it to you, bangs his gavel, and off you go. What stemmed from that was obviously the ability to go immediately with those court papers and change my Social Security card. Once the Social Security card came back in, and I had time that I could figure out to make an appointment so I didn't have to miss any work, I went and got a new driver's license. I'm not gonna like show you lots of stuff. I'll scan it and show you a little bit. It's my picture, it's my name. So now my driver's license says Jen Winslow, and it has a female gender marker on it. From there, it was very, very awesome to move into credit card and debit card with my name on it. So now, finally, when I go to restaurants and such, there is no mismatch between what I look like and what my cards read. Now, honestly, I never had an issue. Nobody ever, you know, wanted to see my ID. I think once I bought some wine to take to a friend's birthday party, you know, and of course they want to check your ID for that, just because they have to, not because I don't look like I'm old enough to buy wine. And you get that little, like, you know, they grab your card and they look at you and they look at you and they're like, you know, and then you do whatever and they accept it. So now it's just, it's amazingly nice now to not have that conflict of, again, name and IDs and cards and that. What then moved from getting the license as well is I was now able to send a copy of the court papers and my new license to the Indiana Department of Vital Records, and I am now having my birth certificate changed, both name and gender marker. So I will have a new birth certificate, and at that point the old birth certificate is actually sealed and locked away. I think it can be accessed through court orders and, you know, and things. If I get into some legal trouble, anything like that, they could go back in and pull those out, but for all intents and purposes, not intensive purposes, that's my grammar coming out in me. For all intents and purposes, the old birth certificate is sealed. I will get my new one here, actually I think this week. And from there, then it goes to getting a new passport. And in the meantime, I'm like trying to remember all of these places that I have to call and change my information. Some of them are very easy to do. Some of them not so easy. If you are trans and you've gone through this name change, heck, if you're getting married and you're going through a name change, if you're getting divorced and you're going through a name change, you know the hassle this is to go through all of these different things and have to change all of this information. And it's not cheap. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. So, I mean, I know a lot of people, my ex-wife included, decided to just keep my last name, even though she remarried, because she doesn't have to change anything. So that's cool. You know, it's nice when you can do that. Kind of sucks when you can't do that. But that's it. So it was this closure. It was all of these amazing things. It was coming back. It was moving on and progressing in other ways. The other thing that I did that brought me such tremendous joy, and sometimes a little bit of self-consciousness, and that is my hair. I have always worn either hats or wigs, which are basically hats made out of hair. And when you do that during the summer, I don't care where you are, that's really disgusting and hot, and it's just gross. You feel gross, you're not comfortable. And I mean, I had cool hats. I don't know, maybe I'll show them to you, maybe I won't. I don't know, we'll see. But I like a couple of Western hats. I am from the Midwest, so that actually goes well with me. I've got a couple of bowler hats. I've got, obviously, baseball hats, all these other things, so I wear lots of hats. I was slowly whittling my wigs down to just having one. I liked having different looks, but at the end of the day, I had one that I liked. The others were kind of like, eh. But a week after I got back, I decided this one day, I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm just going to just my hair. That's all it is. And surprisingly enough, it actually worked. Now it's obviously thin. There's obviously, I mean, if you're looking at me right now, you can see it is very, very thin. This hair actually right here is, as much as I hate to say it, combed over from the side. I have some hair here, I don't have a lot. So if I go out and it's a windy day, boom, I wear a hat. If I go to the ocean, I wear a hat because it's always windy. And, you know, I don't want to look like Donald Trump at an outdoor news conference with my hair waving in the wind, as semi-patriotic as that may seem. It's been so amazingly well accepted by my friends and by people that I don't know. And I go to a Unitarian church, and they all like are always complimenting my hair, and again, there are some days when like my hair looks really good and I've spent a lot of time and everything works just right on it. There are other days that I do it and it's flat and it's gross, and you know, it's okay, do I do a hat or do I not do a hat? What do I do? Today was one of those marginal days, but I went without a hat. So it's awesome. Again, so I've got this new sense of courage, of confidence, that any of you along this journey, some of you, I mean, some of you have been confident from day one. Some of us, it took quite some time to get that confidence up. Another thing I did was I really started focusing more on me as much as I could. That goes with my, taking care of myself. I've lost 12 pounds. I've plateaued at that 12 pounds. I want to lose like at least, oh my gosh, at least 10 to 15 more pounds. I would actually like to lose 20 because I'm heavier than I want to be, and people are like, oh, but you look fine. You know, maybe I do look fine, but this is personal for me, and losing that much weight still keeps me within that range of where I should be. So, I mean, I'm 5'7", so anywhere between, you know, like 130 to 160 is a good range. I had gotten way past the 160 mark. So right now I'm at like the 169, 70, 71, right in there. I just told you my age and my weight in this video. How do you like that? So anyway, so that's going on, and I started to take a little more pride in how I look. I'm very much a jeans and t-shirt kind of a person. Before I moved out to California, I actually wore dresses quite a bit, and you know, was really proud or took pride in my appearance. I moved out here, and you know, everybody's gorgeous out here, so I would be in my apartment and I would look really good and I would feel really good about myself, and I would walk outside and it didn't look like I had done anything compared to everybody else out here. And I know that's my thing, it's society's thing of beauty or what have you, but in the trans community, that does kind of play on us a little bit more, because there's always that chance of like, well, if I don't look this way, then I'm gonna be seen as this, which is usually seen with, you know, kind of like, oh, you're one of those. And that's, you know, that's a terrible feeling to have. I've never experienced it. I mean, like I've experienced it like maybe once or twice, like at Halloween, because that's when everybody dresses up, and so you kind of get looked at a little differently at Halloween. I don't really care. It's a bummer for like 2 days, and then I'm over it and whatever, and I move on. But so I'm taking better care of myself. I'm taking better care of my my skin, my nutrition, the way I dress. I take, I pay more attention to my friends. Now, I always have done this. I've always nurtured my friends. But I make sure that I'm there for them. Most of the time that's reciprocated. Sometimes it's not. You know, you try to say something about how you're feeling, and your friends either are or aren't hearing that. When they hear it, it's awesome because it gives you a chance to let out everything that you've taken in. And the moments when you're stating how you feel and it reaches a deaf ear, that's like really, like it tugs at you, and it really kills you, especially if you're such an empathetic person. So that has happened actually as well through the course of this year. I actually hit a point where I kind of think that I've lost a friendship, but that's okay. I mean, I think we're still here, but I just don't think we're as tight as we used to be. And then, you know, I had such an amazing weekend last weekend. The long weekend, it was, I went up and I spent a very renewing weekend with my friend Erica up around Santa Clarita. Spent the weekend at her apartment. She's this amazing editor at DreamWorks, now Universal DreamWorks, or just Universal, however that plays out. We have a lot in common, so we actually clicked pretty quickly when we met. A year and a half ago, something like that. So I went up, hung out with her. We went out to eat. We had some like amazing food. We went up to Ventura Beach. We had some amazing food. We like to eat. We came back, and we like to watch movies. I had her watch Bubba Hotep with Bruce Campbell. She'd never seen. She had me watch Attack the Block, a movie I had never seen, and it was nice. It was relaxing. It was getting away from this LA area, which I don't try to do, but sometimes it is nice to get away. And then I came home, and all I wanted to do on Labor Day was to sit around and do nothing. But what I ended up doing was going down to San Diego with my very best friend, Lee. We've been friends for a couple of years now. It's nice. She's that friend that we go pretty much all over the place together. It's nice. We're looking at doing our own YouTube thing even, so that may be another thing to loop you guys over to at some point. And she's just, so we went down. She needed to talk to a friend of hers, someone that had been an old pastor of hers, Reverend Cademan. So, yeah, honestly, kind of reluctantly, I went down. I hadn't been in the best of moods to go down there, but the Saturday and Sunday really kind of rejuvenated me. We headed down and we spent the entire day in San Diego. We went to the beach with again, it was me, Lee, Reverend Cademan, and their friend Sam, who was also just like this amazing person that I met. If I would have stayed here, I would have been watching movies and eating pizza and drinking Gatorade or whatever, which isn't bad, but it would have been completely non-interactive with anyone. It would have just been me. So I went down and I had this absolutely amazing day. And like, emotions were opened up and feelings were opened up. And on the way down, Lee and I were singing karaoke the entire way down. And the entire way back was like the most heartfelt conversations that you can have with your friends. And it was amazing. So I got back a little bit later than I had wanted to, but that was fine. The next day I was going down to Disneyland with my friend Erica and our mutual friend Amy. And so we went down and we did the park hopper pass. So we did California Adventure, which I'd never been in, and Disneyland, which made my third visit. My first visit was a year ago. I'd never been to Disneyland. So it is a place that I've fallen in love with. It just ended up being this absolutely amazing, 4 days of absolute renewal. I am completely rejuvenated. I'm happy. I'm embracing life. It's just, life is good. And just the fact to be where I am and doing what I'm doing, you know, my job, which allows me to live here, creative things that allow me to do to feed that side of me that needs that creativity. Look at that! I couldn't even think of the word creativity. How creative is that? But that's it. So what I've done this past summer is I have embraced life. I have embraced my friends. I have embraced activism against some of the more ridiculous things that are being brought up against us. You know what? With that, I'm rambling, as I tend to do. This vlog has probably gone on for a good 20 minutes or so, which means I need to shut up. And that's what I'm going to do. So please just embrace your life, embrace peace and love with everybody around you. And you know, with that, that's it. Peace.